Smash Bros. Hi-ya. Hi everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be reacting to one of the early uploads from the YouTube channel, the Game Theorists. I'm a huge fan of their work and I hope that you will enjoy this video as well. This video came out in the year 2016, so I think it's around 5 years ago. Let's start.
Ever wanted to visit a stage from Super Smash Bros. In real life? Well, maybe you can, provided you acknowledge the existence of stages that aren't Final Destination.
The sun, the moon, all this, the planets. Oh, it's a bit too difficult.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory.
Hello, game theory. Get it? Game theory instead of game theory. Alright, let's continue. This is one little pun.
Oh my gosh, did you hear that Sakurai finally announced Ridley for Super Smash Bros? Wop 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 wop. Curse you obscure PS2 RPGs! Now, despite Super Smash Bros. Melee being 15 years old, oh, did you just feel the collective wave of people watching this video suddenly feel really old?
Wait, note that this video came out 5 years ago, so 5 plus 15 equals to 20 years ago. Oh, I feel old. My gosh.
The community for the game is as strong as ever. Earlier this month, a bunch of animators collaborated to reimagine the game's iconic intro, and it's hilarious. And gamers have practically willed more depth out of the game by looking at it through a closer and closer microscope, like velocity canceling, which was just discovered for Melee last October. Look it up, it's wild. I mean, even the recent realization that you could hack your way into playing as Master Hand and Giga Bowser are incredible. And the game continues to make news with the world's top Smash 4 player recently revealing his tiering list for Melee. Better late than never, I guess? Anyway, at a time when most other fighting games get immediately overshadowed by their newer, flashier sequels, unless your name is Street Fighter V, Melee has held on. It's a game that truly wave-dashed its way into our collective hearts. But then, what more is there to say about this game after a decade and a half? Well, for all that time, one mystery has lingered on, quite literally in the background, and today, I intend to solve it. 3 years ago, while watching Did You Know Gaming, I heard this line.
There are also some test stages left in the game's data. One of the stages labeled test is long and textureless. Its background appears to be a photograph of the inside of a pub.
My mind was blown. Not because there were hidden stages in Melee. I mean, that in and of itself was no big surprise. Lots of test code never gets finished and remains hidden in game data. But what really caught me off guard was the restaurant. How weird is that?
What? The restaurant is a stage? Huh. Interesting.
To see a picture of a restaurant full of people in the background of a Nintendo mascot brawler game. To see Bowser butt stomping on Marth while people sip lattes in the background. It's definitely unusual. And for the last 3 years, I couldn't get it out of my mind. Where was this place? What sort of restaurant was it? My mind was filled with all these cool scenarios explaining why it was there in the game. Maybe it was a favorite after-work hangout near HAL Laboratories that the programmers would go to gripe about having to code Pichu into the game. Or maybe it was a piece.
Don't do that! Don't do that!
Throw in the US, outside of Nintendo of America's headquarters, where Reggie's body was ready for lunch. Probably the most important question that stuck in my mind was, could I eat there? Was this a real place still in existence? Could I really go get a cup of coffee at an in-game location from one of the most highly regarded fighting games of all time?
Meleeception. Kinda. It's like Inception, but Melee, so it's like Meleeception. Kinda.
How cool would that be? And with that, the quest was on. Outside of the few sentences Youngtown had on the matter in the Did You Know video, the only other clues I had to go off of were in the Smash Bros. Melee wiki, which explained that it was a coffee shop in Palo Alto, California. I got excited because, as a California resident, it meant that I was close. But then on the other hand, there were no references, so it could just be as meaningless as the time Wikipedia reported that Miley Cyrus had died. The only other thing it mentioned—
Oh my gosh. Wikipedia, come on. Why you do that?
was that the coffee shop was a common test image used for OpenGL 3D object texture mapping. Which begs the question, what the does all that mean? Well, back in the 80s, it was hard to develop software that could work across all the different types of graphics hardware. There was no standard, and so software developers were forced to custom fit their product for each new system they were working on. Let's see, this was the 80s, so what would be a good comparison to draw? Imagine having a VHS tape of the David Bowie, Jim Henson childhood-ruining classic, Labyrinth. Say you want to relive all the eyeliner Muppet-tastic glory, but each time you go to a friend's house, you needed a different version of the same VHS tape.
I'm not sure if my audience even know what that is. I mean, like, it's even foreign to me. I know what it is, but it's foreign to me. I'm pretty sure my younger audience doesn't even know that. It's like, what is that?
Simply because they had a different VCR, or video cassette recorder, for those of you who are so young you're still trying to figure out what a VHS tape is from the last sentence. As you can imagine, that's gonna be frustrating. The movie should work on every VCR. Having a different version for each one would be expensive, inefficient, and just a waste of time. Well, that was the situation for software developers back then, and OpenGL, or Open Graphics Library, was created to solve that. A cross-platform programming interface that would work across different code languages and allow you to render 2D and 3D vector graphics. And nowadays it's used in everything from virtual reality to, well, of course, video games. And our Super Smash Bros.
No, please know that their today was 5 years ago. Right now it's even more advanced. Yes.
Ever wanted to visit a state?
Oh no, where did I miss out? I remember this is a 7 minutes plus, right? Yes.
Restaurant image was apparent fix. And nowadays it's used in everything from virtual reality to, well, of course, video game.
I'm so sorry for audience, I have to redo this part. Sorry.
And our Super Smash Bros. Restaurant image was apparently one that would appear in OpenGL textbooks, used for exercises where 2D images would have to be mapped onto 3D surfaces to make them appear more realistic. Basically, it was a part of a homework assignment to teach people texture mapping, a word that gets tossed around a lot in the gaming scene, but you may not actually have known what it meant until now. And so I looked into these online manuals, and sure enough, there was our Smash Bros. Restaurant, mapped onto a martini glass. So much for it being a Nintendo-specific image. My romantic visions of stalking Reggie during a luncheon from a corner booth in the pub fizzled away. That said, I was too far to turn back now. At this point, I was determined to find the Super Smash Bros. Stage in real life, but my next step didn't lie with the GameCube, but rather the history of texture mapping itself. After doing a bunch of Google searching, I was eventually able to find another useful mention of OpenGL and a coffee shop on TombRaiderForums.com, where a group of people from 2006 were just as baffled as I was after finding our little test stage image in the texture files for Tomb Raider Legend. Tomb Raider and Smash Brothers? Our little coffee shop had been making the rounds.
Oh, maybe this is crossover, right? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Maybe it's also a possibility, right? Isn't it? Let's continue.
But what role did it have in this game? After digging through footage, basically playing Where's Waldo with an image of a 90s coffee shop, I found it as a reflection in the sunglasses Laura wears while equipped with her special cat suit. Yeah, definitely easy to miss since you might be distracted by other features of this particular outfit. But if you're in...
Come on. Stephanie's watching. She's your wife. Come on. A bit naughty today, right?
To make eye contact long enough, sure as shooting, it's there. Personally, I think it's pretty funny. Her glasses just reflecting a random cafe while she's out there trolling through tombs across the world. Anyway, a German user on the forum who went simply by Cochrane had gotten just about as far as I did with the OpenGL programming guide, but then sometime later updated his post with a link to a personal website of a man named Paul Debevic, Chief Visual Officer at the USC Institute of Creative Technology and research professor in the USC Computer Science Department. It's clearly an old site. I mean, look at that sweet GeoCities layout. But don't let the lack of CSS formatting fool you. It's actually a really cool site that chronicles the history of reflection mapping, aka using a photo as a texture on a 3D model to simulate reflections on its surface.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. I didn't know that. The more you know. So 3D mapping.
It starts with the first ever example of reflection mapping from 1976, the Utah
1976.
teapot. Notice the windows and doors on the pot? Yeah, that's where it all started. Going so far as to cover the reflections on the T-1000 from Terminator 2, before finally concluding with, you guessed it, our Smash Brothers photograph. Only this time, with references. Apparently, the photo is from a paper dating back to 1993, taken by a man named Paul Haberly. We actually reached out to Paul Debevic, who knew the photographer, and he confirmed everything we found out about the image. He clarified that it originally was released to the public as part of a, quote, very influential set of Silicon Graphics hardware software demos, and could be seen mapped onto a shiny bust of Beethoven and the famous Utah teapot, showing the whole graphics community of the early 1990s real-time reflection mapping, which was amazingly cool.
There's a lot of big words to end with amazingly cool. Thanks. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
End quote. He also explained why such an influential picture in the world of texture mapping would be a weird image of a cafe. The layout of the picture meant it could easily be mirrored, flipped over its axis, and then stitched together to create a believable spherical image for mapping purposes. But most importantly of all, what Paul and his site were able to confirm for us was the name of the restaurant itself, the Cafe Verona. And I know what you're thinking. No, that is not a typo. That is legitimately how they spelled their name. It is weird. Which was indeed in Palo Alto, California.
Cafe Verona. Cafe Verona. The more you know.
So, with an address in hand, the next phase of the journey began. We had solved the mystery of the photograph, and now all that was left was to make the holy pilgrimage and literally walk into and interact with not just a small piece of Super Smash Bros. History, but a critical location for all of 3D graphics as we know them. Except, after all that work, it was impossible. A search on Yelp revealed that the Cafe Verona had closed its doors not long after Melee was released on August 31st, 2003.
Oh wait, 2003 is like, I was gonna say 70 years, but it's actually 18 years ago. My gosh, 18 years ago. Oh, now I feel very, very old. Anyways, just take a look.
No! After all that effort, after all that time thinking about it, I needed closure. So I kept looking and found an article titled The Travesty of Cafe Verona. Apparently, this historic cafe, appearing in video games and 3D texture maps for years, was kind of a shady place. Immigration and Naturalization Services had raided the kitchen for employing undocumented kids from Europe. And despite earning the title of Best Solo Dining Experience in Palo Alto, it was accused of serving day-old food that had been heated using a microwave.
I mean, what? What? I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Twist. That's escalated quickly. Yes, that escalated quickly.
Drama alert! In retrospect, though, not all that shocking, considering they couldn't even spell their name right. So is that it? Is that the end of the story? Can you never visit Melee's test stage? Well, not the cafe. No, it's long gone. But the location is still operational. After remaining closed for 6 years, the space was turned into Reposado, an upscale Mexican restaurant that's been
Reposado. Let me try to pronounce it. Reposado. Reposado. Okay, I'm not good at it.
extremely well reviewed and is still open. Chimichangas, anyone? In short, all the answers in hand, I had to make peace with the fact that time had moved on, and that the cup of coffee that would make me a part of Smash history would never happen.
But look at the right side, chimichanga. Wow, Deadpool, I love it.
When you actually stop to think, it's pretty wild to think that one picture in the background of a test level that most people have never seen in a game that's over 15 years old would lead us from an office at Nintendo Japan to some key players at the dawn of realistic 3D graphics to a classic local coffee shop busted for illegal child labor in California to a killer plate of cochinita pibil. The world is an incredible place. Hidden around us at any given moment are a million little things just like this, filled with character and flavor and windows into scenes you never even knew existed. So is all this important on its own? Not really. The world hasn't changed now because we know where this picture came from, but it's thinking like this that makes sure we never stop learning everything we can from the world around us. And that's a pretty valuable lesson coming from a decades-old picture. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. And hey, if you like that theory, check out my other Super Smash Bros. Theory on the secret lore of the franchise by clicking right here. This type of annotation works on mobile too, so just click it to try it out. It's really cool. Or in case you missed it, check out my Life is Strange theory, which is also
Why is your title so weird? Would you kill this girl?
touchy-feely in its own special way, talking all about the psychology of you. It's one I'm really proud of, and even if you're not a big fan of Life is Strange, I think you'll get something out of it. Now, if you'll excuse me, that whole chimichanga idea sounded really good, so I'm gonna go eat things. Maybe not in Palo Alto, California, because that's a bit of a ways away, but, you know, maybe the taco stand down the street. See you next week. Reposado. Reposado. I can't do it in a sexy...
Reposado.
voice. I cannot make this sound sexy. Damn it. One more time. Reposado. Nope, still not.
Alright. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like this video, please consider to like, share and subscribe. One more time. Please consider to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And comment down below if you have anything to share with us. The video judges directors who came from the YouTube channel The Game Theorists, their videos are amazing and do check them out and show support and appreciation for them. Oh my god, I'm using these too much. But hey, look at the bright side. We get to learn something new about history, which is old stuff. We get to learn something old, which is new to us. Anyway, but hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.